Hello everybody, welcome to episode 32 of the ZooPhobia series, Sketcheleshious Monday. Hey, you there! I want to remind everybody that if you end up liking this video, please consider subscribing. It's free, and you can always change your mind. And right now, YouTube says that over 90% of people that watch my videos aren't subscribed, so it would really help, and with that... Hello everybody, I'm ZooPhobia, your guys' host for episode 32 of the ZooPhobia series, Sketcheleshious Monday, where today I'm going to be drawing yet again another character from the Vivziepop short that goes by the name of ZooPhobia. Now, not the most recent, but still undeniably a very well done short in my opinion. The animation is absolutely amazing, and with great animation in that short is also paired with some absolutely amazing characters, and today I'm going to be drawing Rusty. Now, Rusty is sort of the main, or the closest thing we have to a main protagonist in that short, in the essence that he's the only essence of evil that we get confronted with in the short. Obviously, Jack does have his problems of his permanent sort of immortality, as well as his infinite bad luck that comes with that, but the only character that we see that is actually a problem to him directly is Rusty. So Rusty, it doesn't really seem like the best character in this as far as how pure and how good he is. He's technically, as I said, the closest thing we have to a main protagonist, but I like him just as much as a lot of the other characters that I've already drawn, with characters like Zillion, Spam, Jack, and characters that I plan to draw in the future with characters like Autumn. Then we have Venexa as well as Kayla, which, as I said, are characters that I haven't drawn yet. But anyway, enough of me talking. I have two reference photos here that I'm going to be basing some of the details off of. One is a still from the ZooPhobia short itself, and the next one is simply just another one that I'm going to use for some key details, which is actually a ref sheet of Rusty himself. But anyway, with enough of me talking, let's go ahead and get into a time-lapse speed draw and see how Rusty turns out in the end. And with that, here we are with my drawing and my interpretation of Rusty. Now, this isn't much more of an interpretation, as it is, technically speaking, just a art piece based off of the actual versions. I didn't really interpret anything because I had a lot of primary sources to directly get all of the details for him. So we got a bunch of the stuff like his jacket details as well as his collar. I believe I actually missed a couple details on his jacket because I couldn't see a lot of parts, but I believe there's actually patches on his the lower parts of his torso part of his jacket there. But either way, I do really quite like how he came out here. As I said, a lot of this did not have to be redrawn many times over, but I did rescale his head a couple times up here at the ears, and then you can see here we have a couple of the little sort of fluff points coming off where you can see a bit of fur coming off. Then his absolutely adorable ears come down here, showing that they're sort of folding over on themselves, and then you can see they just slightly overlap where his eyebrows are. And speaking of which, I did have to do his eyebrows a couple times over because I tried getting them to cut into his eyes themselves, but that actually made him look like he was like mad, which I don't like drawing mad characters typically, because a lot of what I draw is just single static poses looking directly at you, and And since I only draw a limited amount of these, usually only one, I don't like to make them mad because generally I'm a much more happy person. So I draw them looking happy, which is very well implied by the smile. And then you can see here we've got his teeth with his two fangs and his tongue there at the bottom. And then as for his nose, I did the typical sort of like little triangle shape, even though he, technically speaking, in a lot of sources, does have a round nose, or sort of like a oval that's been turned horizontal. And then as for his eyes, they're just very simple circles, and for a very small amount of time while I was drawing him, I looked like I had drawn the summon of Satan himself, because they were legitimately just circles, and he looked like he was staring into his soul type of deal. And luckily, I was worried that it would last and look weird, and sort of look like that weird creepy way after I got the eyebrows and all of that stuff on. But luckily, after I got the eyebrows and the pupils in, it gave him, well, less of a demonic creepy look. And then as for his jacket, as I said, we just have the two parts coming down here on the side, and then I did give him his patch on his right arm there in the middle between his forearm and his elbow there. And then this side doesn't have a patch here on his left side. Here he just simply has a rip, and I tried my best to show that he does actually have his fur under there. And then this hand is something that I'm actually very proud of, because I'm not good at drawing hands. And if you've watched any of my other videos in drawing characters similar to ZooPhobia, A Hell of a Boss, Hasbin Artel, and even when I drew my own character, I did experiment with hands a lot, and I have to draw hands quite a lot for these characters. And since they have hands, and I'm not good at drawing hands in any instance, whether the fingers and the general hand is skinny and has spikes at the ends, or well, the fingers are like this, where they look very rounded off and stubby. Which, either way, this is the very first time I drew this. I didn't have to draw it several times over. But either way, the main thing that I'm very proud of here, and actually impressed with here, is that it came out proportionally-ish correct, and it doesn't look too small, it doesn't look extensively too massive. And then I gave him his little tail here, even while his tail is a little bit larger in the actual pilot or the first episode. But either way, his legs have some more of the sort of a fur detailing, like you can see here, going on his tail, his arm, and his ears, as I had said, as well as in between the middle of his face, in between his eyes there, in between his ears. And then his feet are just the typical feet that I've done for a lot of characters in the past, just the simple sort of, I guess you could say, a V shape that comes down and meets here in the middle, and then you just draw two lines to show the separation between, presumably, the toes. But either way, with that being said, this is probably one of my favorite characters that I've drawn out of just about everything that I've drawn in the past, because this is Rusty. Rusty is one of my favorite characters because I love the color. He's a dog. I love that. And he also has a little jacket, which is adorable. That and the massive ears are just so cute. But either way, with all that being said, I hope I wasn't too rambly and spoke too much in today's video. But either way, with all that being said, if you guys enjoyed today's video as much as I enjoyed drawing Rusty,